Well, good evening, Doak cooks. Why are we doing pizza again? What's the point of coming to this channel if all we're gonna do is pizza? I mean, this is getting a bit ridiculous, right? I mean, come on. And this is Doak cooks. This isn't Doak makes pizza every night. So the reason why I am making pizza dough again is because it occurred to me that I actually have some pizza sauce in the fridge that I need to use, or else it'll go bad. So I know, once again, I'm making pizza dough, but I am going to do something different tonight, or we're going to try something. So much so that my wife, on her way out the door, said, if you screw up the pizza tonight, don't throw it in the trash. Because she knows that when I get upset, when I prepare something, it doesn't go the way I want it to, I toss it. But apparently I'm not allowed to do that tonight. So, okay, what I typically do, and the pizzas that I normally make, are deep dish pan pizzas. Okay, nothing too wild and crazy. You've all seen them. You've seen my photographs. You've watched the videos. Bing, bang, boom. I grew up with my grandmother adoring a East Coast pizza chain called Ledo's Pizza. They were sheet pan pizzas, giant rectangles, cut into squares. Had a very, very like sweet sauce, not a whole lot of cheese, and I think with every piece of pizza, that every bite you took, I think you got maybe the remnants of menthol cigarettes. I'm not sure. Very, very old establishments, but Grandma loved it, and we loved it too. So I am not trying to emulate or replicate or hack a Ledo's pizza. All I'm doing is I'm going to, instead of using my giant deep dish pan for the pizza tonight, I am going to use a sheet pan, and we're going to try to make a giant rectangle pizza. I'm going to par bake the crust to give it a little extra oomph, because I'm not sure what it's going to do with it being that elongated. But all right, so there's my dough. While I'm talking through the plans for tonight, there is my cling wrap to cover. I'm going to let this rise for I don't know, an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. Nothing too wild and crazy. And then I'll come back and I'll build the pizza as a sheet pan pizza. All right, we'll be back. So I may have erroneously used a term in the last series of videos I just shot, par baking. So for years, I've been referring to par baking as pre-baking, but by looking it up, because I wanted to make sure I was giving you correct information, par baking is incorrect as I described it moments ago. So par baking is where you bake a bread product and then rapidly freeze it to use that at a later date. What we're now, and actually I've seen a lot of stuff on Reddit. Okay, I know, I'm quoting Reddit now. It's like quoting Wikipedia, not a good idea. Anyway, so there's a lot of different Reddit threads talking about par baking, and on those threads, they're also using it incorrectly. So as I understand Webster's definition of par baking is where you bake the bread product, in our case, dough, and then you rapidly freeze it. I'm not doing that. I'm going to pre-bake the dough to give it a bit more oomph and a bit more texture to the bread or to the dough before I add on the sauce and my cheese and my toppings. And I'm going to use a fork to poke holes in it so I can actually get some good air through, and so that the dough actually gets a good rise to it while it is baking. So I just wanted to clarify. I didn't want to give everyone out there wrong information or have you light me up in the comments. So let's mess with our dough. normally I would press this out in a circular fashion because, you know, pizzas and circles. But because I'm doing the sheet pan, I'm rolling this out, and I'm rolling it. I don't often use a roller. I typically do hand tossed or hand pressed, but I am trying to stretch this out a little bit with my roller in a rectangular shape. Because if I can get this nice and consistent from a thickness perspective, then I should be good once I actually get it in my sheet pan that I have greased up with butter, because that seemed to work pretty good last time. Oh, man, okay. Almost just totally lost and shattered my glass mixing bowl. That would have been bad and very, very messy. All right, so it's nice and elastic. So my gluten is stretching a bit. All right, so I feel like this is not, except for that, nice and even now from a thickness perspective. And the moment I lift this up off of the counter, it will shrink again. So I'll have to mess with this in the sheet pan. So not a big deal. But this should now work. All right. So let's bring in our greased pan. Nice and greased pan. Okay. Let's pull it up. All right. I'm going to clean up this first, and then I'm going to cut back. So give me 1 second. All right, that's clean. All right, so there is our pretty funky looking pizza. All right, so I've got some stuff hanging out over here. All right, so how are we going to fix this? Well, we are going to get creative with our fingers. So we are going to very carefully start to work our fingers with the dough all the way around. So I'm trying to kind of knead it together in areas where it's a little thick, and I'm trying not to rip and tear. I'm trying to reappropriate back in. So while I do all of this tedious kind of reconfiguring, I'll come back when it's all nice and clean. So give me a second. Ta-da! All right, so there is our now cleaned crust. I am now going to poke, as I mentioned, all of my holes using my fork. And then I am going to stick this in the oven, and we're going to do it for about 5 minutes. So I normally do my crusts in the deep dish pan at 425 for anywhere from 11 to 13 minutes. It depends on how much humidity is in the air, depends on what time of day it is, depends on what time of year it is. There's a whole lot of factors involved. But I don't trust this because I've not done it before. So, I'm ready. Okay, 5 minutes. Let's see what it does. All right, 5 minutes. All right, we'll be back. All right, that's 5 minutes. Take a look. That looks pretty good. That's not bad. It feels pretty good. That does feel good. All right, cool. All right, neato. Okay, so that worked. Let's, okay, so this is, it smells wonderful. I'm having a little bit of bubbling, bubbling over here in this area and there too, which is fine. It appears that I've basically lost my separation of my edge on my left-hand side, but I've got some other areas here where actually might happen too is I might get some rising separation once I actually load this up with my sauce and stuff. So let's get to that. Okay, the rest of this journey or this adventure is completely new territory for me. I don't know how long this is going to take to cook in the oven. So originally I mentioned that I had sauce, and I do. I don't know why I opened 2 different jars at 2 different times, and that's how much sauce I have left. So I should be able to knock this off. And like I said before, I'm not looking to like replicate or emulate Ledo's pizza. It's just the only like childhood pizza that's like this that I grew up with. Like I said, this was a very rare occurrence. As much as, you know, Grandma loved Ledo's pizza, didn't get a whole lot, or at least I didn't. My parents would talk about growing up with it a lot. That when they were younger, before I was born, when they were dating and whatnot, they would get it, or they would pick it up and bring it over, and she loved it. I could see my father at the time being that nice young lad bringing pizza over to impress mom. All right, let's see. So how much more sauce do I have? I have that much. Okay, cover this, cover that. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. I was starting to get a little concerned I wasn't gonna have enough sauce, but I think I'm going to. Now, I do have a 3rd jar in the pantry, a fresh jar that I don't want to bust out because, okay, I just made a huge mess on myself. I don't want to bust out another one because I don't want to make more pizza. I don't want to make any pizza anytime soon. We can take a break from pizza for a little bit. All right, so let's get you in your crevices. It's a little concerning that I got you a little close to your edge. It's all right. Bring you in. I'm actually gonna bring you back a little bit. Now what I'm doing right now is widely considered like super OCD stuff. This, you know, I don't know anyone who spends this much time saucing their pizza. This is a little ridiculous. I'm mainly doing this because of who I am as a person and because this is being filmed. And I'm a perfectionist, but most pizza artists do not spend this much time messing around with their pies. Okay, wow. Smells delicious. I mean, it smells lovely. And I'm also not gonna glaze the edges of the pie with any olive oil mixtures. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, one of the bigger pieces on this style is a large amount of Parmesan cheese. This is the star of the show. This is what you are going to be baking the most. I do have some mozzarella that I'm gonna toss on. We didn't usually have this with a whole lot of toppings. You know, it's funny, as I recall from my childhood, I believe we used to get full strips of bacon on these. I don't remember pepperoni. I don't remember mushrooms. I remember vividly, like I said, I remember this, but I don't remember a whole lot of like any other meats on here. But we are going to grab some pepperonis and toss them on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust the top of this with some mozzarella, and then I'll do a little bit more Parmesan, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, I'm not doing anything too wild and crazy because I don't know if this is going to be good or not. I mean, I hope it's good, but we're all on a journey. We're all on a journey together. This could be wonderful. This could be something that I promote to all of you and tell you, oh my gosh, you guys have got to try this. Or I can give you a disclaimer at the end of the video and go, do not try this. This was a huge failure. Walk, run, do not walk from this recipe. Okay, I think that's, again, if I'm going from memory. All right. Let's do one last dusting. Because I'm guessing I'm supposed to cover up the pepperoni. All right, there we have it. Okay, so now this goes in the oven. I'm gonna start it at around 10 minutes and then I'll check it after that and we'll see. Most likely, it'll need to bake and I'll need to broil it. So, but we'll start with 10 minutes. So let's flip the camera around and let's take a look. All right, here we go. 10 minutes. Let's see how we do. Okay, that's 10 minutes. Let's take a look. I have a feeling it's gonna need more time. Okay. It's close. It's getting there. But I could stand to do it for at least another, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna broil. So let's try for 5 minutes and then broil. So that means that this whole thing is gonna be about 15 minutes plus some broil time. So we'll come back in a second. Okay, so there's a minute left, but I checked. I don't think I'm gonna need to broil. Pretty sure I've just achieved peak sheet pan awesomeness. So, wow, okay. So I'm good. I'm gonna broil, but I'm gonna broil it, but I'm not gonna close the oven. So, because I've got about 38 seconds left on the clock for my original 15 minutes. So I'm gonna modify and change my instructions that I'm writing out for this episode. But what I'm gonna do is for the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna leave it on broil with the window oven open. You might hear a little bit of bubbling, or you might not, because I'm now down to 10 seconds and I don't see anything. Well, okay, my cheese is starting to bubble a little bit. 3, 2, 1. All right, so that is a straight 15 minutes. I am now in broil. I am now going to be very sensitive because I do not want to turn this pizza black. But I would love to get some of my corners to be a little darker. So I'm gonna give it maybe another minute and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, as much as I want my edges to be dark, I do not want my cheese to be black. So we're just gonna call this a win. All right, let's pull this bad boy out. Okay, well there you have it. There is my Ledo inspired sheet pan pizza, which is actually kind of neat because the pizza has actually separated a bit from my edges. So this is gonna be super, super easy to get out. I got my giant spatula, but this won't be difficult to get out and actually cut on my countertop. So very excited. All right, that's it for Doak Cooks tonight. This smells delicious. Hopefully my family enjoys it. Hopefully you all enjoy the content. Have a great night. Let me know what you think in the comments.
I got a broken face.